Hello everyone, my name is Shelby Butts and I'll be discussing the topic of liability via a case study. I wanted to examine the issue of liability from real-life perspective and felt that the Deepwater Horizon spill was current and relative for us as Floridians. There is no doubt that the sinking of the oil rig and subsequent oil spill is a disaster, especially environmentally and economically. 11 lives were claimed in the rig explosion. An estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil have leaked from the well, devastating coastal wildlife and their habitats. The many people that rely on tourism, fishing, and other maritime activities for their livelihood are struggling to recover financially. Liability indicates a responsibility or obligation for something as especially binding by law. This is a broad definition but suitable for our purposes as we examine the liabilities of institutions in a disaster situation. A fundamental question to keep in mind is where does BP's liability end and the federal government's begin? Now we will examine a few of the laws that the federal government currently has in place. The Oil Pollution Act ensures that responsible parties pay the costs and damages caused by an oil spill in the following categories: removal costs, property damage, subsistence use of natural resources, net lost government revenue due to injury, destruction, or loss of property or natural resources, lost profits and earnings due to injury, and net costs of providing additional public services. For economic costs, there is a $75 million cap. However, BP has stated that it will ignore this cap. This act does not apply to state law claims, meaning BP will be liable to all substantiated claims generated by the affected states. The OPA does not cover personal injuries or fatalities, but BP has indicated that it is willing to evaluate bodily injury claims submitted through its claims process on a case-by-case basis. Death on the High Seas Act was originally established to afford aviation accident victims non-pecuniary damages, such as damages for the loss of love and affection. It does not include damages for the families of maritime workers. The Congressional Committee was hoping to amend this act to include those families affected by the oil rig explosion. The Limitation of Liability Act of 1851 may limit the liability of Transocean, the owner of Deepwater Horizon, to the value of the vessel, which has been calculated at $27 million. It has been said that Transocean's limited liability is not fair and they should be responsible for a portion of the damages. An investigation is pending. On June 16, 2010, BP announced it would establish a $20 billion claims fund. In charge of these funds is the Gulf Coast Claims Facility. 36 offices have been set up in Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. Individuals can go to these offices to file personal claims such as loss of wages due to downturn in business or property damage. These claims have to be legitimate and substantiated. Property damage claims can be verified through photographs or may require an on-site inspection by a claims adjuster. For loss of income,